Okay. So, explain what you do, how long you've done it, and how did you start?
Sure.
Okay.
My name's Gary Blake, and I'm part of a feeding ministry. We go downtown every Sunday, except the third Sunday of each month. A different church goes down on that Sunday. But we've been going down since 2002 and serving a lunch meal to any homeless folks that want to come and have a meal with us. And we've made over the years lots of friends, and we've been able to help lots of folks who were really down on their luck and having a hard time.
All right. Thank you. So, how did you get into the homelessness? Helping solve it.
Yeah, well, it kind of started way back even before 2002. It started in about 2000. Uh, we used to take trips down to Nashville, inner city Atlanta, and we would go down there and work with homeless people, specifically homeless ministries. And some of our high school students got the idea of why don't we do it here in Lexington where we can make relationships with the people and get to know them and be supportive of those who are in our own locale. And so it started in 2002. Our high school group set up this ministry, and we've been going downtown and serving on Sundays since then.
Okay. So, what kind of legislation do you think that the government should pass in order to help continue helping those who are homeless?
Some of the challenges now are the legislation that is being passed, or some ordinances even in communities are restricting where people can go, where they can rest, where they can eat, even where ministries can feed. I think one of the things that communities need to start looking at are ordinances and legislation that encourages places, safe places, for people to set up and feed people who are in need, provide clothing for people who are in need, clinics, those kinds of things for people who are in need, are all very much necessary. And in many communities, they're not allowed, and they're totally non-existent.
Okay, thank you. So, what's one message you could leave people regarding homelessness?
I think that the one message that I would like folks to understand about homelessness and homeless people is they are just like you and me. They're just people who have had some extremely hard life situations. Maybe a lot of them have made bad choices. Maybe it's drugs, maybe it's alcohol, maybe there's things that have just come down so hard on them, and they've reacted in a way that's just left them homeless. Some are just caught by economy and losing their jobs and losing their houses and things like that, and they end up on the street. I think the main thing I would like folks to think about when it comes to homelessness is that every one of those individuals is a person just like you and me. They're probably somebody's brother, somebody's son, obviously, and a lot of them are somebody's father. A lot of them are fathers or mothers. So they are folks that are just, they need love, they need support, they need to know people care for them. Because the worst thing I've ever seen is when that period or that state of homelessness or hopelessness, excuse me, comes over a person and they have no more hope. When they feel like it's all over. I had a man come up to me last week and he said, Gary, my life is worthless. I don't want to live anymore. It's all lost. It's no good. And that's crushing to hear somebody say that.
Sorry, I wanted to ask this, but there's a large number of students who actually find themselves homeless for various different reasons. So, have you ever met a homeless student, someone who was, not an adult, but it's still a child?
Here in Lexington, I have not. But in Atlanta, yes. We had a ministry where we worked in a place called Four Points, I think it was called. And there were a lot of homeless teenagers. Some were runaways. Some had just been their families had left them, and they were stranded. And that is even more heartbreaking than seeing some of the older folks, in my opinion. To be there in that state at such a young age is crushing.
Thank you.
Welcome.
To the program people, they they were all held, uh, I guess, to a higher standard than the GPs, the general population were. And I don't know, that's the reason why a lot of people would rather have slept out in tents
Yeah.
and rather than to go to the Hope Center and subject themselves to, you know, cruelty.
Yeah.
And depending on who was on duty, whether he was black or white, everybody, they wanted everybody to be the same, on the same page. But some of the guys who worked there, they just couldn't treat the people bad. They couldn't. It just wasn't in their heart to. You know?
What kind of things did they do that made it so difficult?
Well, to put it in milder forms, they had a bulletin board on the left side of the wall going down toward where you eat at in the big building. And it had a couple of pages on there, had rules on it. What people didn't know was they had hidden rules that they could trump you on just about any time. Over and above the standard rules that you read on these two pieces of paper. You couldn't do this, couldn't do that, couldn't do this, couldn't do that. So that didn't go over well with a lot of them.
So what would happen if you broke one of these rules?
Well, with me, quite a few times, they would give you 48 hours away from the place.
Oh.
And the times that I was ejected, for some reason, I did a lot of it on my own because I just didn't want to be subjected to their, you know, scrutiny, so to speak. And I just left on my own. Stayed up for almost 2 days. But when I did lay back down, I slept like a baby. You know, it's rough staying up all them hours. You know, and being on the streets on top of it.